There are 8 steps that you can follow that will literally change your life. And today, that's what we're talking about. Hey everybody, my name is Enoch Fossum. I'm an AMFT intern who's specializing in addiction. And today, we are going to talk about one of Bryan Johnson's videos. I don't know if you guys know who Bryan Johnson is. He's the guy that has the Netflix documentary or the show about, what's it called? Don't Die? Or something like that. The dude gets a bunch of flack for being weird and doing all these things. And at the end of the day, I think people hate them. People hate him because he simply attacks things that they like, like fast food. He says, don't go to fast food. It's terrible. He says to go work out and to do difficult things that try and help you not to die. So I think that's why people genuinely don't like him, which is silly. And sure, some of the things he does is very extreme and strange, but that's what he admits. He's essentially the guinea pig to all of this and trying to just make the world a better place through the information that he's finding through his own trials and errors. So I think the dude's pretty cool. I'm gonna link the video that I'll be referencing in the description below. Go watch it. You'll see it's gonna be really similar to the content that we're gonna talk about here. Because we're going to talk about the 8 steps that he talks about over the course of that entire video. So go check it out. You can come back here or vice versa. Seriously, such a good video. For real. The principles, the steps that he talks about are things that we've already talked about on the show time and time again. And so I thought it was just really cool, really reinforcing with the things that we're pushing in the inner revolution. And so it's awesome. Now, before we start, if you are looking for a therapist or a coach to help you overcome pornography addiction and put it behind you for the rest of your life, you can go ahead and schedule a free consultation down in the link below. It'll be towards the top link. The second link will be the video, Bryan Johnson's video, if I remember that anyway. So go ahead and schedule a free 15-minute consultation. It can even be 30 minutes, whatever. Just schedule a consultation and we'll chat. The best predictor for therapy or coaching is the relationship that we have right here. And so if you and I get along, therapy, coaching, it'll be great. But if we don't, then I want you to find somebody that actually works for you. So that's why we do the consultation. So again, go ahead, schedule it down with that link below. Okay, so holy cow, Bryan's video. Dude, this is so good. And I'm gonna talk a lot about these in future episodes as well. And you'll notice if you're a lifetime listener, then a lot of these are going to be really familiar. And some aren't, that I haven't really talked about, which is just reinforces this to me even more, that I need to talk about some of these things more. Because in the therapy room, I talk about them quite a bit. But in over the podcast, I might not have. But maybe I have. I'm not sure. I mean, we're, 64, 65 episodes deep now at this point. So, a man forgets. What can I say? So first, he starts off the video by saying that most people, okay, including myself, are overstimulated, can't focus, not fulfilled, and we're essentially just rotting. And that is the environment that we all live in. That's the environment that's been created over the years, over the decades, up to this point. And so it's not your fault for responding the way that you have up to this point, okay? Because this is the system that you've grown up in. This is the system that we're now a part of. We can feel enmeshed with, right? Like we can't get away, like the Matrix. We're stuck in this Matrix and we can't get out. But he says it's now your responsibility to choose how you respond to your environment. The environment is pushing against you. It really is, especially when it comes to things like pornography addiction, right? You look anywhere. You go to TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, you watch the freaking Super Bowl, for heaven's sakes, and you have these hoochie mamas, these girls that have basically no clothes on, that are doing some skanky dance. Like, dude, come on. There's so much just softcore pornography everywhere. Marketing companies, pornography. Clothing companies, pornography. All of it, I mean, it's everywhere, dude. It is everywhere. And so, honestly, it's up to this point, no wonder that so many people struggle with porn, right? And that it's getting even more, what's the word, popular. It's becoming a bigger problem. I mean, yeah, it's a huge problem. And that's why the inner revolution's even here, man. You know? Like that's why we're here. We gotta make a difference. But we make the difference in the individual. Because Lord knows I'm not taking down Pornhub anytime soon. Okay, we're not trying to take down these corporations because it's a waste of time, honestly. They're too big. It's too big of a problem at this point. So what we have to do is start at the individual. We're not trying to change the overall environment. We're trying to change how we respond to it. Okay, so Bryan calls these the 8 pillars or the 8 steps to reclaim your life. Okay, so we're going to go through them one by one and talk about them. Pillar 1 is you can do hard things. And relating this to pornography addiction, man, this pornography addiction is going to be one of the hardest, if not the hardest thing, pun intended. I say that every episode, I think. I gotta chill. This is going to be the hardest thing that you are ever going to do in your life, is overcoming an addiction in general. And I would argue pornography addiction is the hardest thing to overcome, period. No matter what you're on. You could be on meth, cocaine, all the hardcore drugs, right? But I think pornography is honestly going to be harder to quit than any of that, because pornography deals with with your sexuality, with the sexual parts of your brain. Your brain is designed to, not designed to look at pornography, but it gets reinforced harder, I would say, because every time you watch porn, remember, your brain is saying, oh man, like this is great. We're spreading our seed across the world, and this is what we want to do. Your brain only really wants 2 things. Okay, 1, it wants to keep you alive as long as possible. So whatever that means, which is why we have things like habits and things that our brain helps us with, so we don't have to spend energy on actually thinking about it, so we can live longer. So the brain connects energy expended to the amount of time you live. So less energy you expend, longer you live, vice versa. So it wants you to live for a long time. And 2, it wants to make sure your DNA never leaves this planet, which is why you have things like sex. And so your brain doesn't know the difference. We've talked about this. Your brain doesn't know the difference between pixels on the screen and a real person. So whenever you're watching porn, whenever you're masturbating to pornography, your brain's like, dude, hell yeah, 5 times today, that's unreal. Our DNA is going everywhere. This is awesome. Little does it know, it's going into old Bob, your favorite sock, right? Or down the toilet. It doesn't know that. And so it thinks that what's happening is great. So anyway, that's what I think it's going to be one of the, porn is the hardest thing to overcome, period. It really is, especially if you've been dealing with it for a really long time, because it deals with these really ancient parts of your brain that other substances really don't. So pillar 1, you can do hard things. You have to come to understand and believe that you can do hard things, not just overcome pornography, but you can apply to a new job. You can become a dad. You can become a mom. You can apply to that new position, to that management position. You can set lofty goals in the gym. You can set a goal to wake up early in the morning, even though that can be kind of scary and daunting, but you can do it. So I love that he starts off with this, because this is just the fundamental, the core, the base, is that you have to believe that you can do hard things. You can. Because the rest of the pillars are honestly hard. They're hard to do. So you have to believe that all of these are possible and that you can do them. Pillar number 2 is starting with the end in mind. That's not what he named it. But essentially, this pillar is about your morning routine. And your morning routine doesn't start in the morning when your alarm clock goes off. It starts at night, the night before you go to bed. It starts with your nighttime routine. And let me tell you, the amount of times, I think it's probably 100% of the time so far, all of my clients, I'm trying to think if that's true or not. I think it really is. All of my clients who struggle with pornography have troubles with a bedtime routine, with getting consistent sleep, with going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time. And if that's you, if you do struggle with porn, you have a really consistent bedtime and morning routine, like let me know, for real. And that statistic is going to change. But as of right now, all of my clients have struggled with the nighttime and morning routine. Sleep is seriously one of the most important things you can possibly do. Think back to all the times that you've watched porn in the past. How many of those were late at night? And how many of those were because you were tired? Probably a lot, right? And so I love what Bryan says. He says specifically, when sleep is aligned, everything else follows. When your sleep is thrown off, your body tries to cope real hard with that. For real. It puts in a lot of effort to try and cope with the day. And so what does your brain recommend? Porn. Because that's a great solution. Man, if you're feeling tired and you just need a dopamine spike, nothing better than some good old pornography, right? Because it's worked, and it works. And so that's why your brain's going to recommend it every single time. So one of the best ways that you can eliminate or at least dampen the urges that you have is to make sure you're getting ample sleep. And experiment. Find what works for you. I found that 7 hours for me is the sweet spot. If I sleep under or over that, I tend to be a little bit more tired or groggy if I go over. And so 7 hours, whatever that looks like, and just making sure that you get that. Try and go to bed before 11 p.m. Okay, ideally 10. In bed by 10? Dude, that's the best. There are a bunch of studies that show the benefits of getting to bed before midnight. I'm not a sleep professional, but just get your sleep, dude, okay? And there are no exceptions to this. You're out on the weekends, go home by 10 or be in bed by 10. You're a busy dad, busy parent, be in bed by 10. Now listen, if you have a newborn and the newborn has trouble sleeping and this and that, I get it, but do your best to still try and wind down at night. If your kids are up and running and being super crazy at 10 p.m., that's still a little late and you can do better. Pillar number 3 is starting your day with purpose. Dude, what a baller. We've talked about this all the time. I mean, this is huge in the world of addiction, is starting with purpose. Because most of the time when you wake up and you sleep through your alarm, you've got 10 minutes until you have to be at work, your day just starts off in absolute chaos. Go, 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 go. And then you wonder, like, why do I have such a hard time focusing? My morning's just been so insane. Like, your brain just is trying so hard to catch up. And then, of course, as you're on the toilet in the morning, this is totally me. You're on the toilet in the morning, scrolling YouTube, starting your day off with social media. It's not a good way to start. So start your day with purpose. Know what you're going to do when the alarm goes off. You need to have a plan in the morning. Bryan says consistency creates stability. And man, dude, I love that. Because how many of you feel like your life is not stable when it comes to pornography, right? It probably doesn't feel super stable. I mean, if it is, it's great. You probably don't struggle with pornography a ton. But if you do struggle real bad with pornography, odds are your life feels chaotic, in shambles. And so one of the best things that you can do is to go to bed at the same time, and wake up at the same time every single day, and create that consistency. Start to create a habit of what you do in the morning when your alarm clock goes off at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., whatever is best for you, whatever you choose, stick with it. And then this brings us to our next step or pillar, is future-proofing your body. Yeah, I know, this is where exercise and movement comes in. But how often have we talked about whenever you have an urge, getting up, moving, exercising, doing some push-ups, doing some pull-ups, going to go get a drink of water, right? How many times we've talked about that? A bunch. And I love just what he names this step, future-proofing your body. Exercise is all about becoming who you want to be for as long as you can, okay? Most people, Bryan says, treat movement like an optional habit, right? It's like, like I could go to the gym, but I don't really want to work out, right? I don't want to get too bulky. I don't want to get too big. Like, dude, come on. I've been working out for freaking 13, 14 years, okay? I've been trying to get huge. Hasn't really happened, all right? You're going to be just fine. You're going to be fine. So you have to move every single day. Do something, man. Do something. Go for a walk for 10 minutes. Do some stretching. Do some push-ups. Do some pull-ups. Go to the gym. Find a couple of friends that want to also exercise more and move more. Create a little walking, running group. Create an exercise group. Like, there are things that you can do that align with your values in the exercise realm. If you're not a big gym junkie like I am, don't go to the gym, but move. Find ways to move. Find ways to move your body in any way. That's not masturbation, okay? I hear some of you saying, well, I could get a wrist workout. I get my arm workout every day. Like, dude, come on, all right? We need something that's gonna do more than that, okay? Not just masturbation. Pillar number, where are we at? 5 is treating food as medicine. I love this one, man. And Bryan says food becomes your solution or your disease. And so a lot of the times, if you're feeling like crap, okay, you wake up, you feel like garbage, you don't have any energy, either you went to bed super late and had to wake up super early, or you ate like crap the day before and the morning of, or all 3 of those. The food that you eat plays a bigger role in addiction than you believe or than you even know. When you eat healthier, you feel better. When you feel like crap, your brain's going to do whatever it can to try and balance that out. Be like, oh man, I see that you feel like crap right now. What can we do, right? Oh, porn. Because generally that makes you feel better. We get this huge dopamine spike. We get this huge serotonin spike. It's awesome. So let's do it. So just treat food as medicine, not just something you can indulge in and have a good time. Now, obviously, this doesn't mean that you have to cut out cake the rest of your life. Bryan might say that. I mean, he'll say it's beneficial for sure. But life is all about balance. If you want to have cake, you want to have sweets, that's fine. But find a balance for it. Like maybe just on the weekends, or because even just every day, you got to find something you can replace it with if you're drinking soda every single day. You can do better than that. And I promise your body is going to thank you. Not just in the way you feel, but up here in your mind. You'll have more clarity, less brain fog, and overall less urges. Step 6 is kill the distractions. Dude, addiction's staple right here, right? Bryan says you are what you repeatedly expose yourself to. We've talked about that in all the different ways, emotionally, mentally, physically. And the thing is, with the way that our environment is set up, is we've been programmed, or this environment's designed to keep you stuck, to keep you doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, like scrolling TikTok, Instagram, watching YouTube, playing video games. Now listen, dude, I watch a bunch of YouTube, definitely too much. And I play a ton of video games, probably too much. Why? Because they're addicting, they're fun. It feels good to be stuck in that habit. Honestly, it really does. But this comes back to step one, is that you can do hard things. It is hard to control those habits. It is hard to say, I'm not going to play any video games right now. I'm going to choose to go read or go for a walk. That is so hard. That's really difficult. It's hard to say, I have an urge right now to go watch porn, but I'm just really going to feel it, and I'm going to get up and move, and I'm going to take steps in the direction of my values. That is hard. It's not an easy thing to do. And this is the way, again, this is what we've been programmed to do. We've been stuck. So kind of in line with pillar number 3, right? Starting your day with purpose, is you get to decide what you focus on. And so be really cognizant of the things that you are trying to accomplish that day, and try not to let any of the distractions get in the way. And dude, it's really hard. I understand. But the more you do it over time, right, the easier it's going to become. Step 7 is removing isolation. Come on. If you've been in addiction, in recovery, or just even listened to any episode here on Inner Revolution, we talked about how important it is for other people to know about your struggle. And even if they don't know, are you going to go watch porn while you're in the living room with your entire family? Probably not. It's going to happen when you're alone, when you're isolated. And if you pay really close attention, you'll start to see that your brain's going to try and find ways to isolate you so you can go watch porn. It's going to start to prepare you really early during the day or before a PMO. It's going to say, you should go to the bathroom right now. Maybe you have to go to the bathroom, or I don't really want to be around people right now. I should go into my room. It's going to push you to try and isolate. At the end of the day, we are social creatures. We are. And if you're an introvert and you're like, I just like to be alone, that's fine. You've got to find a balance though. And so if you find that all of these times that you do want to be alone, that porn comes walking in, be like, hey, glad you're alone. Let's watch some porn. If you find that happens often, you need to change. You've got to change that, regardless of you being an introvert or an extrovert. When you are lonely, you are more likely to create an addiction because you are coping with this need that you have that's not being met. You need other people. You need to be social. That's just the reality of it. And so when you are not, you feel lonely, bored, sad, all these things, and your brain's going to cope with it with what? Porn. You got it. And so that's why it's so important to surround yourself with other people. And they don't even have to know that you struggle. But if they do, all the better. And the last step is stop watching motivational garbage. I love this, dude. First, if you are listening to Inner Revolution, if you're listening to this podcast without the intention of doing something about pornography, about doing something about your habits, then there is no point in you listening to this. And you can just click off the video right now. I mean, Bryan says that same thing in his video. If you're just watching it to just watch it to feel good and be like, oh man, this is great, but you don't have intention to do anything, then what are you doing? It throws you in this motivational cycle. Let's see, what does he say? He said something that I loved. He says, motivation gives the feeling of progress without the cost of change. So when you go to like motivational seminars and things, or even possibly when you listen to a podcast like this, right? You feel really motivated to change. You're like, oh, hell yeah, let's go. Let's get it. We're going to have an inner revolution. We're going to fight like animals. It's going to be awesome. Then the next day you wake up, what happens? Nothing. You don't do anything about it. And so you feel like crap again. You're like, oh man, I'm going to listen to another episode to try and get hyped back up again. And so you listen to a video, you get hyped, and then what happens afterwards? You don't really do anything. Maybe you do something for like a week or two, maybe a month, and then you stop. And it all comes back again. And so the solution is what Bryan calls self-trust, which at the end of the day is discipline. But dude, I love that phrase. I love that phrase. I love that word, self-trust. That is such a better way to say discipline, honestly. So set small little goals that you're going to do, small little actions that you can do on a daily basis that are going to compound over and over and over as you do it every single day. And so if you want to wake up at a certain time and go to the gym every morning, do it. Set small little things you can do every day that help you become the person you want to be. And this has nothing to do with other people. Nothing. It has nothing to do with proving anything to other people. It only has to do with you. You need to prove it to yourself that you will follow through on the things that you say you will do. Why do you put filters on your phone? Well, so I don't come across porn. Why? Because you don't trust yourself. When you see porn, you don't trust yourself that you're going to quickly swipe off it. You think that, oh, I know I'm just going to watch porn when it shows up, so I need to put a filter on. I'm not saying filters are bad. Filters are great. I think they're awesome. But that's the whole point of them, is because most likely you don't trust yourself fully. And so self-trust comes from keeping these small promises to yourself by repeatedly showing up for yourself, showing yourself that you can do what you say you will do. If you're going to not drink soda all week and only on the weekends, do it. If you're going to wake up at a specific time and go to bed at a specific time, do it. Keep that promise to yourself. This has nothing to do with anybody else, just the person that's looking back at you in the mirror. So the challenge I'm going to give you is the same challenge that Bryan gives at the end of his video. If there's one thing that you can get from any of this, it's to pick something that you can do that's in alignment with your values and make it really small. Something you can do every day that's going to help you become the person that you want to do, the person you want to do, the person you want to be. And keep that promise to yourself and do it every single day. Do it when you're bored. Do it when you're tired. Do it when you're busy. Do it when you don't want to. Just do it. And over time, you'll start to trust yourself. You'll start to know that when you say you will do something, you will do it. Even if nobody else is around, you will do it because you trust yourself and you love yourself enough to follow through. Okay, you guys are great. Thanks for listening. Again, I'll put Bryan's video down in the description, so go ahead and watch his video if you haven't. It's super good. He'll talk about just all the same things we already did. So I want to give Bryan the credit for that. But you guys, you rock. Love you. Talk to you next week.